Broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota, this is the best music-oriented podcast and web series on all of YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Roger Radio Show. I am Roger Radio. And when I mean business, I mean business. It's another beautiful day. Gotta get this right here, because you know, everyone needs their caffeine, right folks? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another legit album review. And this is obviously another one that I wanted to treat myself to. Obviously, this one has been way long overdue. And finally, I'm getting a chance to review it. It has been about 4 months way past since its anniversary. And it was the 40-year anniversary of this album's release when February was here. And today's album review, we are going to review The Firm's 1986 album, Mean Business. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who don't really know who The Firm are. Well, let me put it to you simply. These, all the members here in this band were already solidified musicians at the time. We are talking Paul Rodgers, who was in Free and Bad Company, Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, Chris Slade, who at the time was the drummer for Manfred Mann's Earth Band, and of course we have Tony Franklin, who was kind of known as a session bassist, but he was really actually getting a chance to really get his name out there with this band. Now, this band isn't really a whole lot memorable because they didn't have a whole lot of hits, honestly. And it was the case with this album. But after listening to the whole album from beginning to end, I thought some of their music was pretty good, you know? Like, there was some stuff that was like, what the hell I'm listening to? But there was some stuff that was pretty enjoyable. This album here, sadly, is only well known because of 2 big hits that were off it, which we will get into in a moment. But first, let's get into it. Let's do a little backstory behind it. There isn't a whole lot of information to really say about this album, so it'll probably be a short synopsis of this album. So, Mean Business was the second and final album by The Firm. It was released on February 3rd, 1986. It was recorded in 1985. The genre is rock and roll. It was released by Atlantic Records, and the producers were Jimmy Page, Paul Rodgers, and Julian Middleton. Oh, and I don't see a whole lot of information about what he did. Let me see for all of you who he's known for. Oh, okay, so in addition to The Firm, he also worked with the Pet Shop Boys. He worked with Del Amitri. He worked with Dusty Springfield and even worked with Paul McCartney. So, yeah, that's a pretty good resume, to say the least, folks. So, this the album's title was intended to have a double meaning, that the music business is a hard one and that the band was serious about its music. The Firm Mean Business is what the pronunciation is supposed to mean. Now, following the album's release and brief supporting tour, Page and Rodgers eventually decided to disband the band, believing that it had served its purpose. Not only was it because it served its purpose for, like, making music and whatnot, it was because it was also giving Paul Rodgers and Jimmy Page closure, because I'm sure a lot of you knew that Paul Rodgers left Bad Company right after the release of their 1982 album Rough Diamonds, because there was a whole lot of drama in its own right that happened. Like, there was so much tension between all the members of Bad Company. Paul Rodgers and their bassist Boz Burrell got into a physical altercation. Why they got into it remains disputed. It's never really been known what caused the fight. And then Jimmy Page, as you all know, he was in Led Zeppelin, and Led Zeppelin ended up disbanding in the wake of the sudden death of their drummer John Bonham, who is still considered the greatest drummer to ever hit the drums. And I guess for both Rodgers and Page, the Firm was a bit of closure for both of them, to fill that void that was needed at that time. And I could safely say that I believe the Firm did justice for them. Unfortunately for this album, it just wasn't meant to be for like its popularity. All Music gave it only 2.5 out of 5 stars, and Rolling Stone declared the album as unfavorable. The album peaked at number 22 on the Billboard Albums chart and at number 46 on the UK Albums chart. The single, All the King's Horses, which we will get into in a moment, spent 4 weeks at the top of the Billboard's mainstream rock tracks chart, so that was a popular song for this album. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a couple other notes that I will get into in a moment, but here we go. For the charts, it peaked at number 37 on the Canada RPM Top Albums / CDs chart. It charted at number 43 on the Swedish Albums chart, number 46 on the UK Albums chart, and number 22 on the US Billboard 200. Now, what can I say about this album? Could it have done a lot more? Could they have done more for the production? Sure. But at the end of the day, I believe that it wasn't as important about making the music extremely popular. It was more about them enjoying the making music that they did and bringing that closure that they needed. So that's something that should matter. All right, so that being said, let's get into the tracks. We are going to start with Fortune Hunter. Now, the funny thing about the beginning here for the guitar and the drumming, it almost reminded me of a little bit of the opening part for Knife Edge by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, But it's a pretty good rocking tune, Feels like something that you could listen to in the middle of the night, when you're up to no good, I could certainly safely say. It's pretty good. It does feel like kind of a night driving kind of tune, in my opinion. There isn't a whole lot more that I can really say about it. The album cover, I could safely say, it's almost like a collage that I was seeing here. It looks like they're in an alleyway. There's a car that's there, and it looks like the headlights are showing what it's like in the daylight or something like that. I honestly thought this was a bar counter that had the city ingrained into it. There is not a whole lot of meaning to what all these songs are supposed to mean, so this will probably be a short episode today, folks. Let's get into the lyrics. Just roll that wheel. Every time it spins and turns, someone gets their fingers burned. Some you win and some you lose, but if it takes all night, I'm going to play my dues. Or pay my dues, I meant. You step out the door, you got to think once or twice, because walking the streets is like shooting dice. Fortune Hunter, the Fortune Hunter life is a gambling game. Fortune Hunter for the hunter, or Fortune Hunter, blech. Life is just a gambling game. Oh, life's always a gamble. You gotta take chances, people. Some you win and some you lose, but if it takes all night long, yes, I'm gonna pay my dues. Fortune Hunter, the Fortune Hunter, rolling the dice again. Fortune Hunter, the Fortune Hunter life is just a gambling game. Some you win and some you lose, but if it takes all night long, yes, I'm gonna pay my dues. With your head on my shoulder, I feel just a little bit bolder. There's something I got to tell you. I can't keep it inside no longer. Can't keep it inside no longer. Keep it inside no longer. Fortune Hunter, the Fortune Hunter, rolling the dice again. Fortune Hunter, the Fortune Hunter life is just a gambling game. This wheel keeps turning. I'm gonna move again, but this life is burning and I'm playing to win. Oh, in addition to what I said for the beginning of the song with the comparison to Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Knife Edge, it kind of almost reminds me a little bit of Heavy Metal by Sammy Hagar. So whether or not they were influenced, maybe, I don't know. All in all, it's a pretty good song. It's kind of a decent start, to say the least. Not exactly a huge, massive starter of a song for to open the album, but it's a decent, you know. All right, so next song that we are going to talk about is just simply titled Cadillac, and oh my god, do I have something to say about the music here. The guitar work on this that Jimmy Page did, it's so Led Zeppelin-esque, man. And then you put in Chris Slade's drumming to complement it. It's holy shit, you know. But there's no denying the bass playing from Tony Franklin, and then of course Paul Rogers' enthusiastic singing to complement it, you know. And of course, considering that the song is Cadillac, it's like you know when how the guitar playing is. It's like when you start your engines. It kind of feels right. It just feels right, you know? All right, so let's get into the lyrics here, shall we, folks? I gotta pull up a Microsoft document because apparently YouTube Music doesn't have this. So, all right, here we go. Well, she's long, she's sleek, and she's black. Baby, step inside my Cadillac. I've got space, so front and above and back. Baby, step inside my Cadillac. This is my invitation. I want to change your destination. Come on and ride. And she's mean, looking nasty and fat. Yeah, sounds like my type of woman. Everything you need is in my Cadillac. She's by far the best thing I've ever had. Baby, step inside my Cadillac. This is my invitation. Let me change your destination. This is the moment, da. I've been waiting for so long. This is the moment. This is my invitation. I want to change your destination. Don't you worry about your reputation. Don't you give your mama an explanation. Yeah. Come on and ride. This is the moment. You don't need to go home and pack. You know all you need is inside. And don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry about coming back. How yeah. Everything you need is in my Cadillac. Oh, this is my invitation. I want to change your destination. Oh, don't you worry about your reputation. No, I want to give your mama an explanation. Yeah, I'm sure it's really gonna sit well with not just her mama, but her pa too. Mmm. Now that you're riding, take it from me. Let me steer you. It reminds me of the fucking song from Flow State that I was reviewing a bit ago, you know? Fuck's sake, bro. Yeah, I don't have a Cadillac, but I do have a queen size bed. Is that good enough for you ladies? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, I might have to add this to my sex playlist. I don't know about you, folks. Anyway. So next up on the list is the biggest hit from this album, and it is, of course, All the King's Horses. Now, this is without a doubt one of their biggest hits. Alongside with Radioactive, this is a really good song right here, you know? Sounds very somber-ish, is how I would pronounce it. I don't know if it was supposed to sound that somber, but it sounds really good, you know? Like, you listen to the music overall, and then you listen to how Paul Rogers sings in it. It's a very complimentary to it, to say the least. Now, the song was released in 1986. There is no concrete info on when it was recorded. Obviously, it must have been recorded in '85 while they were working on the album. It was released by Atlantic Records, No, Paul Rogers wrote the entire song, and the producers were Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page. Now, in the US, the single spent 4 weeks at #1 on the Billboard album Rock Tracks chart, reached number 61 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and number 67 on the Cashbox Top 100 Singles chart. When it was released on an EP, the other side had the song Fortune Hunter, which was the song that we already reviewed. It was released in the US 3 times, in the UK once, and in Spain once. Now, like I said for the charting, it peaked at 61 on the Billboard Hot 100, #1 on the US Billboard Mainstream Rock, and 67 on the US Cashbox Top 100 Singles. All right, that and considering, like it is, of course, one of their big hits. Like you have to have a big song that was from this album. So just like with their first album. Now, there was a music video that was included for this song right here. I'm going to include a link to it as well as the music video for the next song in the description below. But essentially, it was set in Japan. I believe it was like sometime during one of their dynasty periods, like, because, back in long ago, a lot of Asia had what were called dynasties that lasted for how long, and it was like how traditionally it was, right? Right, and it looked like it was more of a love story kind of thing, so to speak. There's this guy who just came out of nowhere, faints in front of a woman. She cares for him, kind of. Has some dinner with her her parents. They're like in a barn, a farm, or something like that. It looked like a farm. And all of a sudden, these ninjas come out of nowhere. They hog tie him. And then I don't know what the hell happened afterwards, but I know it ended with the farm burning down and the couple runs away or whatever. Like, what? It didn't look like there was even a full fledged story in there, honestly. And of course, it was interspersed with, the performance of the band themselves, I will say that Paul Rogers looked for some reason, he looked so much more different than he did in the first album for the firm, for his appearance. Jimmy Page looked the same. Tony Franklin, he had the wild Billy Idolish hair, but then he ended up changing the dreads. And then Chris Slade, he looked the same. It was only Chris Slade and Jimmy Page that actually looked the same compared to the first album, whereas Franklin and Rogers kind of changed a little bit. Alrighty. Alright, so here are the lyrics for this song. They say our love was never meant to be. That time would make it just a memory, but they don't know. How can they understand? We didn't build no castles in the sand, and all the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't storm this tower of love, my friend, of love, my friend. They say our life was just a fairy tale. No matter how we try, we must surely fail. But where are they now, and could they ever understand? This ivory tower was built on rock, not sand. And all the king's horses, baby, all the king's men couldn't storm this tower of love, my friend, of love, my friend. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't storm this tower of love, my friend, yeah. All the king's horses, yeah. All the king's men couldn't storm this tower of love, my friend. All the king's horses, all the king's men, yeah. Overall, it's a really good song. I would, if you want to get into the firm or give them more of a listen, not only look up Radioactive, but look up All the King's Horses too. I would say the next song here is actually my most favorite one from this album, and it is simply titled Live in Peace. It starts very softly, to say the least. And then it starts picking up a little bit around, I would say, the 2-minute mark. But what made me fall in love with this song the most, you get to the 3-minute 20-second mark, and there's Jimmy Page's guitar solo, and that's what made me fall in love with it. I would say alongside outside the of his time in Led Zeppelin, I think this might be his greatest guitar solo outside of Led Zeppelin. Like it was, I don't know, it hits me the certain way. And then, not to mention Tony Franklin's bass playing, I loved his bass in this. I really did. Now, the music video for this one, they're playing on top of it. They're doing like a performance on top of this building, right? And then it's interspersed with like shots inside the Soviet Union, and then showing clips that's supposed to be like, "Hey, let's have peace, man. The world does not need any hate." I feel, in my opinion, that the music video, I think, foreshadowed the collapse of the Soviet Union that was to come a few years later. You know, it makes me wonder if Ronald Reagan, our president at the time, listened to this song and then gave his Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall speech. You know, that would be cool to say the least. You know. But all in all, this is a great song. I listen to it as much as I can, folks. I really, really do. Another interesting note to also make is that one of the album's tracks, Live in Peace, which was this song here, it was originally recorded on Paul Rodgers' first solo album, and that was his 1983 first solo album, Cut Loose. The versions differ in that Chris Slade played the drums at half tempo compared to the original version, apart from the ending. Paul Rodgers has recently played a new version on his new compilation album, which is simply titled Live in Peace. So, there's two different versions. I have not listened to the original that he made on his solo album, but I'll have to give it a listen. It's also important to note that All the King's Horses and Live in Peace get constant classic rock radio play. I know because my boy David Moody plays some of these on occasions. You know, I don't think during his request sections. I think probably on his spare time or whatever. But I hear these songs on our old classic rock station. So, alrighty, here are how the lyrics go. Let me take a look at where we're at quick. I think after this song we'll take a quick commercial break. It's probably going to be a short one, but I always insist on doing breaks, people. The lyrics are as follows. Early in the morning, just as the sun was rising, came without a warning. The sound of the uprising, gunfire in the streets, women and children crying, the crush of marching feet, men and young boys dying. Why can't we live in peace? We live in the troubled times, the shadow of annihilation troubles every mind and chills the heart of every nation. Darkness fills the night, she tries to steal your soul away, killing in the sunlight. She spreads the shadow through the day. Why can't we live in peace? Why can't we have no release? You and I, we don't know why. So many people cry. You and I, we don't understand the ways of mine. Why can't we live in peace? Why can we have no release? That's it, folks. Essentially, that's pretty much it. Um, Actually, you know what? On second thought, we're not gonna do a quick commercial break. We're just gonna keep going, folks. Like I said, this is probably gonna be a short episode, so I don't see no point in doing a commercial break. So. All right, so next song that we have is Tear Down the Walls. Another good song that probably, yeah, it has that Sammy Hagar-ish like vibe to it, is how I would hear it. You know, it just does. Like, even the guitar and bass playing on this was pretty good too, you know, like, it feels like this is almost kind of a downgrade compared to like the last two songs that we just listened to, or that I just reviewed, I meant to say. But it's another good tune, you know. It feels like something laid back, you know. If you're just on your chair on your front porch with a band with in your bibs having a beer and chewing your big fat dip, you know, it's what it kind of feels like, honestly. I did like Paul Rogers' singing in this too. I really did. All right. She was pretty as a picture. She was sharper than a photograph. She was everything I needed. In her smile and the way she'd laugh, I was going through the changes that made me what I am today. I was looking at all the dangers instead of trying to do it in my own way, or do it my own way, I meant. Say it's easy on the outside, baby, but you ought to try looking in. I got a feeling, man. Now, that's growing inside. I think I know what's on your mind. I want to tear down the walls, see them crumble and fall in the midst of a time that burned forever. The moment remains in my mind, dancing fingers touching my heart. Dance, 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 dance to the rhythm of love. Say it's easy on the outside, baby, but you ought to try looking in. I get a feeling, man, that's growing inside. Think I know what's going or what's on your mind. I want to tear down the walls, see them crumble and fall. I want to tear down the walls, see them crumble and fall in the midst of a time that burned forever. The moment remains in my mind. Yeah, dancing fingers touching my heart. Dance, dance, dance. Come on now, dance to the rhythm of love. Ha! They name dropped the song by the Scorpions before they made Rhythm of Love. Lol. Say it's easy on the outside, baby, baby. Oh, but you ought to try looking inside. I get a feeling when I look into your eyes. I think I know what's on your mind. I want to tear down the walls, see them crumble and fall. Tear down the walls, reach out and call. Tear down the walls, tear down the walls. Yep, that's essentially it, folks. All right, so next up we have is Dreaming, and let me tell you something. When you listen to the beginning of this song, Dreaming, it feels like you are dreaming, pun intended. Like it has that dreamy like feel to it. And then you get to around the 30-40 second mark, and it's just like it wakes you up. It feels like it has that same kind of dreamy like vibe that Still Loving You by the Scorpions did, you know? I would probably add this song to my playlist, actually. It sounds really good, folks. And then you listen to the ending of this song, and it sounds essentially in a dreamy like vibe like the beginning of it, you know? I guess they wanted to revisit that or be like, you know what, let's put an intro and an outro to this song on, and there you go. So the lyrics go as follows: moving out of line, falling either side, running out of space, living on an edge. Don't stop me, I am only dreaming out you, baby. A perfect love in a careless land, your living cold, cold world. You drive me crazy, but you drive me oh. Losing all the time in between borderlines, I had to take in you, a lot to take in you, you and me until to my children, show to me. Don't stop me now, I am only dreaming out you, baby. A perfect love in a careless land, your living cold, cold world. You drive me crazy, but you drive me oh. You remember lately how you love to hate me, but how I need your love, don't take it away. No more crying, no more lying. There is no denying my love. Don't take it away. Moving out the line, falling either side, running out of space. I am living, living on beach. Crying through the night, waiting for a cool day ride. Hope a dream that I need. Lesson and read fidelity. You remember lately how you love to hate me, but how I need your love. Don't take it away. No more crying, no more lying. There is no denying my love. Don't take it away. My love, my love, my love. Another decent song, you know, I really liked it. I really did. So next up we got is Free to Live. It's probably another one of the most easy listening songs on here. You know, the guitar and bass, as always, really good. You know, there's not a whole lot that I can really say about this song. It's another good, easy listening tune, so let's get into the lyrics here. Now that I'm free to take it all easy, take all your time and do what I please. Nobody around me that's pulling me down, building me up, just to turn me around. Baby, I got you like the summer has the sun, and it's all that I can do, just to walk and not to run. Baby, you got me, and that's all I have to give. Together we'll be free, free to live, free to live. Drifting like clouds in a soft summer sky, walking on air to the cool summer night, let them all this time. Let's go drifting on by. They may say it's a waste, but I don't mind. Baby, I got you like the summer has the sun, and it's all that I can do. Just to walk and not to run. Baby, you got me, and that's all I have to give. Together we'll be free, free to live. All right, then there's a break in between, and we continue on with Baby, I got you like the summer has the sun, and it's all that I can do. Just to walk and not to run. Baby, you got me, and that's all I have to give. Together we'll be free, free to live. Down through the years, I've been looking for something, chasing a dream like a bird on the wing. Looking for something I just couldn't find when all of the time you were right by my side. Baby, I got you like the summer has the sun, and that's all that I can do. Just to walk and not to run. Baby, you got me, and that's all I have to give. Together we'll be free, together we'll be free, together we'll be free. Free to live, yeah. Well, we don't know what that is anymore in this communist world, so. Now, we are going to conclude this quick album review with none other than Spirit of Love, and oh my god, folks, I don't know if you have ever listened to the Who's 1971 song, The Song Is Over from Who's Next. This literally has that same vibe to it, for the piano playing and just the overall singing and mood of it, Like it really did. I want all of you to give The Song Is Over a listen, then come back to Spirit of Love and you tell me you do not hear that. I dare you to tell me you don't hear that similarity. There is like a female chorus that is around the nearing the end of the song here. I feel like it does have that heavenly Christy like feel to it because, this is obviously the last Firm song ever, Oh, and I think it felt like a very appropriate ending, to say the least, for the Firm's discography. Hey, it does. I do hear a little bit of Jimmy Page in this song for the guitar playing, but it doesn't. It doesn't feel like it's a Jimmy Page guitar solo, But, geez, Jimmy Page, he outdid himself with this, you know. Alrighty, so let's get into the lyrics here. Look to your heart, don't waver now. The way is there somehow, no matter how long, no matter right or wrong. Don't give in. When you're down on your knees, the whole world is counting, and it would please your enemies to count you out. Reach down inside and find some more. When you ask, is there someone out there? Who knows somewhere out there? Don't lose heart if you have the spirit of love to carry the day. The spirit of your love will show you the way. Look to your heart, don't waver now. The way is there somehow, no matter how long, no matter right or wrong. Don't give in. If you have the spirit of love to carry the day, the spirit of your love will show you the way. If you have the spirit of love to carry the day, the spirit of your love will show you the way. If you have the spirit of love to carry the day, the spirit of your love will show you the way. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So my final thoughts for this is that the album could have did a lot more better, to say the least. least, but at the end of the day, Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page, in my opinion, did not care about making something extremely memorable. They just wanted to do something for fun to bring that sense of closure to, everything that had happened to their last band. And remember, Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page, their partnership was really good. I mean, after all, Bad Company and Led Zeppelin were both signed to Swan Song, on which was Led Zeppelin's record label. And so they were able to really build up a good friendship there. And to say that this was a very anticipated partnership would be an understatement. Could they have done more together? Sure. But I think they just wanted to see if it ran its course, and in the end, it did. This album right here, I would give it at least a 7 out of 10 rating. I would give it 7 out of 10. My most favorite song, obviously, is Live in Peace because of that fucking guitar solo, dude. Wow. And then All the King's Horses is second best. As far as for my least favorite songs, I actually don't have a song that I hate. I really don't. So I liked all of them, but Live in Peace and All the King's Horses were the bigger ones. At the end of the day, it was a very interesting supergroup, Paul Rogers, he would eventually reunite with the Bad Company a few years down the road for a couple shows, and then Jimmy Page doing what Jimmy Page does, And it also helps that Tony Franklin, because of his work with this band, he was able to get himself his name out there a whole lot more. He was kind of an unknown prior to this band, and he managed to really become a good bassist down the road. And Chris Slade, right afterwards, he would end up becoming AC/DC's drummer when they released their comeback album, The Razor's Edge. And so a lot of these guys were able to continue doing whatever after the Firm officially ended, And the Firm, they may not be the most memorable supergroup that was formed, but their music is actually something that I would recommend without a doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Are you fans of the Firm? And if so, what are your favorite songs? And also, are there any topics that you want us to cover on this podcast? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, if you like what I do here, subscribe to the Roger Radio Show today. Hit the bell to be notified when I upload, and hit that thumbs up. And while you're at it, subscribe or follow me on all my social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. The links to that will be in the description below. And if you are an independent musician or band who wants to have your music promoted and to be interviewed, email me at rogeroads90@yahoo.com. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, until next time, ta-ta for now!